You know what I mean? It's like okay, so what is bitcoins? I mean, what are these other
Well,
ways that people are exchanging, a commodity between one another? It's kind of like, what is the system that we're actually existing in crumbling in some way? And yet, I think that there is like this amount of fear that's surrounded around it. But then again, like, what is obviously there's got to be a solution of this. It's like maybe there's a shift to like something called like more like a love-based economy. And I know like people, oh, you're a girl, you're just saying that. What do you mean love-based economy? That's so hippie. But why not? I mean, I think if you go to if you go to Marin County, you see some pretty freaking rich hippies walking around, and they've got some money. And obviously, like being a hippie is not doesn't mean that you don't have a way of doing something. It's the value in
you know
which
why
you
that
put
doesn't work
money
though,
on it.
Terry?
It's not money. Money's not bad in and of itself. It's the value and the intent and the destruction that's done in the name of the money and the
Without
greed.
yin, there is no yang, Terry. For
Right.
every good person, there is someone just as fucking evil. You
Yeah,
know,
but I mean here, I mean, but
and that's the fucking truth of the matter.
no,
You know,
but I have a theory. Okay, I have a theory that maybe it's not that way. That perhaps there's been energetically we didn't realize that it was happening to us, and now that we do, there's a lot of people that go, no, I believe that there is a solution. There is an evolution happening here rather than, something where it's like, oh, everything's fucked and like, what are we going to do about it? Well, yeah, the question is what are we going to do about it? And, if we see the opposite of like, I don't accept this is not, the world is in like, no, I see my world differently than you want me to see my world. And it's like you don't have the right to make that choice of me. And it's not saying, I have a freedom. I have liberty, but you know what? You cannot take the spiritual, and I'm gonna say this word, because I know some people go, oh, spiritual, what are you talking about? But that part of yourself that says, I own this, and this is mine, and that is, and because of that, and as like the Declaration of Independence says, I am, a sovereign being. I'm like, I am created in the image of my creator, not God, not whatever. But the fact that I have that endowed and the right of being that human, that I have these rights based on that. And I feel that that's kind of the key to it in some ways. It's something that we don't, I mean, do we really believe that? And if we believe that, then the other part of that doesn't even exist for that because it's a part of the fucking Constitution. And that is what, America, that's what's special. For me, that's what I believe is what's special about America. And that's what the other world looks to it. We still have the light on where in other places the light doesn't exist anymore that way.
hmm.
And now I feel that if we embody that and you go, no, I am we are this. And I think that there's part of the world that wants to see, they're very, I feel that other people, other parts of the country are watching what is happening here because they're witnessing something happen right in front of their eyes,
Well, and that's the thing,
as
Terry.
well as
Is
we are,
anytime.
because we are like kind of in the center of the whirlpool in this. And you know what? I mean, within that whirlpool, that synergy of energy, we have the ability to raise it and going and going, yeah, and let it, and not, maybe this is the big turning point of mankind as opposed to, like, we're all going to be, freaking chipped and living in, high level rises, concentration camps. I mean, yeah, that could be that's a possibility because if you think about your reality ending some ways, that's a possibility to anything, because if what if like our thoughts are creating our reality and it's simply in the shift of our thoughts that can create the dynamic of the change that we actually really want to see.
Yeah,
I agree completely.
Yeah.
I think that's that's a great I, that's a great way to
The
look at
laws
it.
of attraction are real.
Un, unfortunately, however, there are bad people out there.
I know,
Not
but
But
saying that
it, but
90% of the people are bad.
but
I'm
it
saying that there are bad people
but how do you
dealing
attract them to
with.
your reality?
right.
What's that?
How do you attract them to your reality?
Well, Terry just explained that. You don't have the right to try to tell somebody how to live in their own world. See, everybody on the planet lives in their own world. Everybody sees things differently. And
Right.
nobody should have to tell anybody else how they should see it. That's
It
correct.
is much easier to control someone else's reality than it is to
Yeah, but
control your own.
what if there becomes a collective resonance that starts to take place on the planet where it becomes more unified? Because like kind of lately at the same time I feel like I'm witnessing that as well.
It takes us spreading it.
So I mean to see people all over the world start to become united and
Right?
and they're taking the streets about in
That's a
each
beautiful
country. I mean,
thought, right?
right.
Right? But the New World Order isn't,
I know, but
right?
are we saying that they're more
Is
powerful than us?
is an
They're
But
less
I'm
than
what?
them.
saying that you're looking at the same coin with two sides.
Right.
Okay, you have a one world government, which is the coin that we're looking at. You know, I mean, it comes down to who is going to be in charge of that one world government. Because believe it or not, Terry, there will always be someone who will exploit the good in people.
I think the point though, Northblatt, is that you determine your own reality through the vibration that you that the frequency that you vibrate at. So in your own laws of attraction is is what happens with a new world order exclusive to your perceptions and your reality as you plot it out through life, or is it for everybody? And this is one of the great philosophies, like do what is your reality in comparison to everybody else's? Like in some people's realities, they're locking their houses down, they're preparing for survival. And some other people's realities, they just meditate and have love in their life, and they don't even think about those things. Now, like when the when your world collapses around and like concentration camps and all these things happen, is this the same reality as the people that are in your reality?
God,
Like,
you know what you just said reminds me of Eric the Viking. Have you ever seen that movie,
nope,
Eric the Viking,
I have
where
not.
all the people on the island sinking because blood had been spilt on the island, and it is the island of Atlantis, right? And blood was spilt on it, but nobody wants to accept the reality of the fact that the island is sinking. So they all just hold hands and they sing, and everything's beautiful. And the king says, "This is not happening. It's not happening. Just look away. It's all good. Everything's good." But the reality of the situation is their island's sinking, and they all end up drowning and dying. Well, they all drowned and died happy, but
Isn't that awesome though?
Yeah,
you know,
but we're not saying, like live like with naivete and like not to be able
Right.
to see the darkness that actually really exists in the world. I mean, it's like you can't if you don't see the train coming, you can't jump out of the train track. It's about being informed, but for me, it's like I'm not going to allow it to like the information that I'm processing to lose faith in myself and in mankind and what we're capable of doing as collectively when we all come together. And it's like the John Lennon's, like come together right now over me. I mean, it's like, I heard that I read somewhere that possibly, and that there's a that he that's about marijuana. That's about cannabis or the hemp plant or whatever. I don't know. But that song rings in my head, come together over me over what? It's like like I feel that now that I see what I feel like when I recognize what's happening and going on in the world, and I'm processing it and attempting to use discernment, because there's a lot of I mean, now that we have the internet and YouTube and stuff like that, now somebody's going to be watching our videos sometime and listen to what we're talking about, and because what we're talking about is what they're looking at too. I mean, it's like we're not having these conversations because we're not thinking about these things. Obviously, we are looking around the windows of what our world is like and what is happening to the world. I used to never think this way before, but I know now that I'm having a completely different experience of what I'm beginning to perceive what my reality is. And I don't think that I'm the only person that this is happening to at this particular time of our existence. And I,
I've pondered this before. This is, I mean, it's absolutely, it makes perfect sense. I mean, it doesn't make sense. At the same time, it makes no sense at all. Yet I feel it inside.
right,
For instance, the whole conspiracy theory shit, all of this stuff with the government, all of it. Nobody fucking brought that to me, right? I went out, I sought information, I collected all this, gathered all this information up, and I started watching my the country fall apart around me, based on these conspiracy theories, right? That I had no idea about, and you know what? Prior to knowing about them, I was a diehard Republican who was patriotic, had absolute faith 100% in my country. You you know you you tell me you tell me that the president was out to get us, and I'd laugh at you. You know. But after researching and after finding all this stuff out, and it almost seems like it was almost too convenient, to let it enter into my brain, and then like Jason said, bring that reality to me and the world around me. And I think that is something. I think that is a true um, a true thing. I think that we do control a lot more of the realities around us than we want to believe.
North Black, can I explain it a little bit?
Sure.
Um, what the frequency that you vibrate at dictates what you see around you.
Okay.
You know, like so when you raise your own frequency, your perceptions of reality actually becomes different. Like the higher the frequency you vibrate at, the more of a peaceful world you live in. Like it's kind of hippie-ish, but the shit really
Yeah,
works
because
out.
your brain allows different things in based on the vibration and the frequency in which it
Right.
vibrates. Yes,
The part
I understand.
that I have a hard time with is that I I I don't believe I have to work to be a good person. I just continue to be a good person. I try to meditate on positive things and stuff like that, but then you get out in your car and some asshole nearly hits you and it flicks you off like you're an asshole. You get out in the world and you see it's difficult to continue to be about love and preach love when you go out and you see a world of shit happening around you. I think the main chore for us all really is to be able to take the idea of of raising each other's frequencies, and like and really the way that we do these things is by enriching the lives of the people around you. Like, there can be a ton of gloom and doom and stuff, but when you can see the positive, and the ways that those things are combated, and you take those as your goal, you'll find that you become a more delightful person. Like when you go out in public, and you go to a cashier, at Fred Meyer, who has gone through 450 people in the last 6 hours, and they're just going through the motions, and by the time you're done, they're in a great mood and smiling, and they pass that on to the next person in line. You really are, effectively creating waves instead of ripples in the pond.
I agree with you there.
I agree with you there too. And Donald, like I agree with a lot of everything that was said. But one thing, I really like about Terry is you can't tell other people, you can't, you can might be able to raise their frequencies, but you can't tell them how, like you can't change their world.
No, no, it's hard.
Always be
It's really
someone who
hard.
disagrees with you.
No,
And
no,
you
no. I
can't,
think we
Well,
all.
I mean, you can only do like your version of that, live your version of that,
What
and
you
your
think is
reality.
good may be fucking horrible for somebody else. You know what I mean? I mean, really, in
what I
all
was trying
actuality,
to do is find like-minded. You could find people who share the same, and that makes it a whole lot easier. And that's what and that's giving out that education because you don't know. You might have just like Northflat was saying, you might have somebody who is one way, and then like they get enlightened at some point, or they do they get some knowledge, and all of a sudden now they've changed their view, and now their view is matching a lot of yours. And that's not because that other person forced it on them or made them or changed their view. That person had to do it on their own to change their own view. My whole thing is I'm a firm believer in I'm in complete control of myself, except for maybe when I get really really fucked up. But I'm in complete control of myself. I do what I want. I don't let other people dictate to me. I don't walk around thinking I'm always gonna be in trouble. I'm not afraid. I don't walk around in fear. I do smoke. And here's what's really weird about the whole legalizing pot thing. I've smoked pot since I was 15 years old. I've traveled all over this country and I've smoked it freely and openly without. And I've
exactly.
been where
I've
I'm
never
smoking.
hit it.
People are like, you can't smoke that here. You can't smoke that here. And I'm like, why the fuck not? You want some? you know, like, I'm gonna do what I want.
I've always
And
been that kid too. Like I, uh, it's always been something that I haven't been afraid of, and have always thought that that people were stupid for not agreeing with how we live our lives, how we think about it. You know, um,
right,
but then again, at the same time, like that, uh, we're,
But then
let me
who are you to say that they are stupid for what they think?
right, right,
It's
that
like them saying that you're stupid for what you think. It's
exactly.
just it's
Do you, a
you can
really rough,
never. It's a never winning battle. That's the thing.
a really
There
rough
will always be
lesson that
someone who disagrees with you.
I got one for you that really is a good lesson, and a really tough one. Uh, I've released, like, 3 albums. I make music videos. I work on movies and all that stuff. And, like, my teenage nieces and nephews think I'm a fucking dork. Like, I do all this cool stuff. I got a fucking tattooed neck, and they think I'm a fucking dork. They think the music I listen to sucks. They don't fucking give two shits about my opinion. Like, try to, like, as cool as I think I am, like, these 16, 17, 18 year olds think I'm a fucking annoying old fucking nerd.
Stop.
Well,
Seriously, like, I have a room full of pinball machines, and they have no interest in me or anything I have to say. Let's try and, like, change that reality. Like,
well, I got in an argument this week with a girl who was very, very strongly in favor of the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, right? And she had made a statement that she didn't understand how I could be so evil when I'm such a nice guy. How is it, Alex, that you can have views like this, that you would be so heartless as to keep people from getting free health care when you're such a nice guy, and I've never seen you in that kind of light before, Alex. Why would you think that? And you know what she doesn't understand is that my where I'm coming from is is actually in the overall. I believe in caring for others. I believe in teaching others to care for themselves. But I also believe that the short answer isn't necessarily always the best one. You know, and I think that that's what this Affordable Care Act thing is the short answer. You know, the real answer would be to get rid of these words like fucking insurance and healthcare all to fucking together, right? And to help the fucking sick. You see somebody, the doctor sees a sick person, and he does everything he can to fucking help them, regardless of how much money is in their pockets. You know, uh,
You,
but in the same aspect, we live in a society where we, in order to live, we have to have money. We have to be able to pay for the food, the housing, the clothing, the things that we need to survive. I don't necessarily agree with it. However, many other societies, many other isms have tried and failed miserably. And unfortunately, thus far, the one that's worked the best is based on greed, is based on a negative reality. It's based, if you have a society based in greed and based in corruption, how can it go bad?
you know, I have a I I don't hate Obama, and I disagreed with a handful of things. I've seen a few ways where bureaucracy and our Congress and other shit has tied his hands and whatever. Um, I have a sister who's a PhD geneticist. She teaches at George Mason. She consults for the National Institute of Health, the Center for Disease Control. You know,
Jesus Christ, what happened to you?
uh, I know, I know. I was just like, here, you run with it, like. But she also spent a handful of EI in working in forensics there, and among some other things like some policy and health policy and stuff like that. And and then I also have a really good friend that's he's the head surgeon at the University of St. Louis Medical School, and they've both really laid out some a lot of ways where the affordable. You're right. The first thing you're right about more than anything is we shouldn't have insurance. Number one. Number two is like there's no way that Obama's going to be able to crash the system and just say fuck this insurance stuff. We're going socialist. That's what they've accused him of all along. But like you have to be careful. One of the things my sister has for her PhD course is they have a prep for the when to get your PhD you have to write a PhD thesis. It usually takes like a year to write, and it gets peer reviewed, and sometimes it takes a couple years itself. But you in your PhD thesis, like at the end, you have your list of sources, and so part of my sister's course with her students is preparing them for their sources. And so you can go to as we all know from the fluoride fight, you can go to the Center for Disease Control website and you can find pro DDT, you can find pro fluoride, you can find all this stuff. But when you look in the sources, that's where it's important. Like and this is where she kills her students because so many of them think they're so smart and they go to all these sites and they pull all this stuff, but then they don't go look down and below and find that the fluoride uh, the fluoride study was done by Johnson and Johnson.
Right.
you know, so these are the things that we all have to be careful of, and that was why part of what I worked so hard in with the fluoride debate was absolute sources. The problem with that was is the other side didn't give a shit. They didn't care what our fucking sources were because they knew they were fucking lying anyway. There was a point when I got offline and I stopped arguing with the people who were just working for the other side anyway, and I literally started going out and I talked to my neighbors. I talked to the people at the checkout at Fred Meyer. I talked everywhere I went. I talked to people, and I had some really good sources, and ones that I could back up, and I could look people in the eye and say this, and this is why. Let's look it up together. Let's talk. That's how we affect change. You go out and you talk to the people around you. Let's take back our communities before
That's
we
what
start to take
politicians
on the
usually do.
world. We need to
I
start.
care.
We need to crawl and walk before we fly, and we need to understand that we start at a community level before we get out on the internet and splat to the world. We need our own neighbors to give a shit about us. We need to give a shit about our own neighbors. Unfortunately, like even my own neighbor is kind of hard because, we have some a few drug houses and other houses where they're totally straight edge, but they drive down our 15-mile-an-hour street at 50, 60 miles an hour because they don't give a fuck about anyone else. So it's hard sometimes to be like, hey, I care about you, guy that almost runs me over. I care about you, Mr. Drug Dealer down the street. it's
Well, yeah, that's where the Christian religion, or actually most religions, believe that you have to love your neighbor regardless of their opinion. You know, and I mean I think that's one of the things that they got right that I don't think they fucking
I agree with
actually,
that.
but
No,
but it,
you're very right. There's really good ideas out of Christianity where you can say, hey, that's cool. Love thy neighbor. At what point did amendments get added to it?
exactly
That's the
exactly.
real bummer. And then you can't even point this out to Christians. That Leviticus tells you that if you wear clothing of two different weaves, you were to be stoned to death in a public setting. If
Right.
if you touch swine on Sunday, you're to be stoned to death in public. So what about the NFL? Read Leviticus.
Uh, Leviticus said the same thing, but Washington proved them wrong. They
Who
actually
said?
legalized gay marriage and weed in the same day.
I'm
Leviticus
gonna
proved them
marry
wrong.
some gay weed.
Homosexuals should be put to death and be stoned.
I'm
Um,
serious. I'm gonna marry some gay weed
right?
with my face and my lungs. Is this a comedy show? Am I the only comedian on this show?
That's
Not
great.
I've never done stand-up comedy. I should shut up. I will though. I will do it. Just you know, someday.
What, Mary Gay weed?
Yes, at a comedy show.
I don't know. Is this a comedy show? I mean, this is just something that we just started to do trips. I mean, I like it when it's funny or and entertaining. It has its flow to it. You know.
I think we should all get on here one night and all on Skype do psychedelics.
No,
Like
I totally, yeah, yeah, I believe that as well. We've brought this up. I think that we should definitely get a couple bags of mushrooms and fucking and do a show. Absolutely.
if if we planned out the right thing, I could actually utilize real gear and set up a. If I might be trading two pinball machines for an actual video camera, like a movie camera. But
Really?
we'll see. It's dependent on two pinball machines that don't work. So that's the problem. But if I get the new camera, we could maybe set up and do like where we all got together in a controlled setting and then recorded ourselves discussing things on psychedelics.
A real trip.
Yes.
Yeah.
The real trips where everybody, where we can give out knowledge that comes to us while we are actually tripping. That was pretty much the idea of the show. I wanted to, when I came up with the idea of trips, I actually wanted to travel, go to different places, and do their indigenous drugs, alcohol, and then talk to their people, like their leaders, while I was fucked up. That was the idea. I wanted to go and take trips to trips, so other people didn't have to. They could just watch me do it. I figured it'd be like a kind of like a no reservation, best parts of like intervention. I think like hilarious train wrecks that you just couldn't take your eyes off.
You mean Keeping Up with the Kardashians?
Oh, oh, my eyes can never go there.
I've never watched it. I've just masturbated to her porn repeatedly, but don't judge
Always
me.
gets
Don't judge me. Hey, if I'm gonna be a master of something, I mean, you know what? Like,
Terry,
What?
I said you look tired.
Yeah, I think I'm getting kind of tired now. You know, it's been a long day.
this trips is over, man.
It has been. It's been a long, long day.
yep. Got a
Long,
lot done
strange
though.
trip.
Yeah,
I'm actually kind of afraid to drive home with the road.
I wouldn't, Terry. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. It's cold as fuck out there. I walk between the trailer and the fucking office here, and there's fucking sheet of ice on the fucking on the parking lot here. I wouldn't drive.
You can. My couch pulls out.
Okay, I'll stay here until the sun comes out.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Okay, thanks.
No worries.
Thanks. Yeah. Okay, that makes me feel better because I was kind of going, oh, I was stressing a little bit.
Oh no.
I feel like I've imposed on you. I hope you had fun.
Oh, and I've been fine. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Awesome.
So,
All right. So what are we?
has anybody tried any of these free mobile hotspot apps? Do they work?
I haven't tried one. I was thinking about. I almost did get one added to my plan, but right now I think, oh, do I? You don't really have the budget to add anything extra right now because I'm kind of like, have certain, services that I'm paying extra for to just do this media right now.
Yeah.
So no, but I thought about it. I almost got
The
one.
free mobile the free apps. There's free apps on here for portable Wi-Fi hotspots.
Well, I can do a hotspot off of my cell phone.
Well, I
Um,
can too, but it's $50 a month, and you only get 2 gigabytes of download.
oh, mine is I get 6 gigabytes to do it.
Oh, really?
And my dad and I have a share plan, and we pay one between
Socialist.
between. I'm a socialist because I share a plan with my father.
Socialista.
Yeah. Anyway, so but I try not to use it. I mean, like where I live at, I have bad reception in my room. So sometimes like, I want to just, I don't want to go to the brick room to use good internet.
Bad reception in a room can really mess up your masturbation schedule.
You know what? It really, I do have some lovers through Skype, and it really like, makes it. Terry, why are you
I
masturbating in the
thought
middle of our living room? I'm like, because I have bad internet in my room. You
I
can't do
thought I
that.
saw you on webcam porn.
Nothing like being 30 years old and I still gotta wear headphones when I wear porn.
You
I still gotta watch headphones when I wear porn.
Well, I figure if you're gonna like really fuck with the NSA, just have some hot steamy masturbation sex while they can enjoy that too.
seriously
While they're like observing you and go, hey, and here's my pussy. How do you
look up
like it?
Illuminati porn or NSA porn or drug smuggling porn.
Uh-huh.
Look up those are the things you should Google search.
Really?
Terrorist porn.
No.
Look up how to make a
I'm
dirty
not.
bomb porn.
I don't want. I don't want to like freaking like Google those things because well, you'll definitely have people after you.
Dirty South bomb porn.
It's like anything with terrorist or bomb or anything like that. I mean, like no.
You're a terrorist.
See now we said those words are probably gonna explore us now. Shoot. Damn it.
Terrorist. When you go to the bathroom, you're a bioterrorist.
Oh, you know what? I just I don't believe, for me, like I'm the farthest way from being any type of person like that, It's like, I mean, really, that's the part where I go, yeah, I'm a hippie.
Right. No,
You know?
seriously, like if it came with all the survival shows crack me up because if it came down to like where the government finally decided they were gonna come haul us all away to a camp or something like that, which is just ridiculous. Like whatever. I would rather just die then. Like I would die on my feet at that point. Like I don't. There's it doesn't matter how many guns you can have to protect your home. Number one, your home is wood and plaster, so like one bullet can go through your entire house and out the other side. If anybody wants to extract you from your home, they will get you. And there's a $50 billion a year government weapons, or that we know of. I think like 50 billion a year into like building more bombs, planes, whatever. We're never going to be able to fight them metal on metal. So we just take that out of the equation. Like, I mean, this isn't like an anti-gun rant, but I could give two shits about fucking the government wanting my guns because I got a fucking 22 squirrel hunter. I don't give two shits. If they want me, if they want to come and take away my shit, they'll fucking do it. There's nothing I can do about it. I have other ways to combat them. That's with my wit, charm, and my pelvis cam.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? I like that picture of Malcolm X.
Yeah, we
That's
used to
really cool.
date.
Oh, hey, here, let me show
He's
you
my
something
Malcolm
here
X.
really quick. Check this out. Hold on a second here. Let me get this big old.
If you wanna hold this, I can just go to the bathroom and come back.
Oh, well, you could put it in a thing.
Oh, okay, you guys. I have to. I mean,
Oh, did you just cut it?
Is that your picture of? Is that the guy you were talking about?
what happened to your picture?
Is that the picture of the guy with the fucking weird head?
What? But I can't see your pic. I can't see you anymore.
You can't even see my picture.
No, no. I'm just seeing like a blank.
I think you hit the control bar or the space bar.
I hit the space bar.
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. You're back.
Oh
Thank you.
yeah, but hold on a second. I put a new profile picture up. I wanted to see if Jason liked it or not. Is this the guy you were talking about, Jason?
Which
Oh
one? Which
shit.
I don't know.
I fucked up. I don't know where you went again.
Pretty close.
Wait, we can't see it. I'm sorry. Damn it.
So do I
Um.
have to turn it back on
This
again?
is why you need a catheter.
There you're back on again. Oh my god. You're fucking with me. Are you fucking with
Okay,
me?
I'm gonna try it one more time.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. All right, yeah. Okay, yeah. All right, let's see it.
Let's see.
Oh shit, you're gone again. I didn't do anything that time. I did not touch the mouse. You're messing
It's
with
not
me.
giving you a picture. I don't have a profile picture.
No, you it's just a blank head.
Yeah, it's a head with a big hole in it, right?
No.
No, It's just the standard head that they have for Skype when you don't have a picture.
Oh, the motherfuckers.
A picture of that tape that Hulk Hogan's son bashed.
Huh. Okay, I have to go to the bathroom now. I can't hold it. Oh, wait, I can go like this. I can go, but it's,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's not gonna do it right
Swing
now.
it against the pipe.
Yeah, I'm just gonna set it right there and, oh, look at that. It's taking a picture of, oh, the weed. It's taking a picture of the weed right now.
Oh.
It's filming the weed.
Here I am.
Really, my picture's not up there?
Nope.
That sucks.
Yep. pretty much things that
I
suck aren't cool.
Too.
on my tablet I can go back like in Skype and go to your profile while I'm still on the phone or while I'm still on Skype. And so I went back and looked at your profile and saw the pictures, so I could see it.
The only times I've ever Skyped is with you guys.
Is it the Hogan kid?
Huh?
Northwest? Is
No,
it
I
the Hogan
think
kid?
so. I'm pretty sure this is the guy that Jason was talking about. I mean,
That's
if
what I
that guy
thought.
ain't missing half his fucking head, I don't know. I mean, you can't miss too much more of your fucking head than that, right?
Right.
Like,
I bet he doesn't really miss it.
Well, you don't remember it. It's like,
You know, it's I, I saw some, you know, some whiny shit. Like the whole bullying thing is out of control. But like some whining about like, you know, comedians making, like, who can comedians make fun of? You know, I pretty much think that's everybody.
yeah.
But but it's funny
So
like
if you
the.
make fun of somebody, see, I don't think I'm really upset about the commotion of bullying, but it has its place. You know, dodgeball had its place. You know, red pens had their place. They took all this stuff out of public schools and replaced it with the idea that everybody gets a trophy just for standing there or
I want to
participating,
get
whether you
bullied.
participate or not. And
yeah.
it was a false reality because
Well,
what did we
the
hate?
other side of this whole world hippie dippy peace thing, the other side of that is
Oh,
your
look.
Demolition Man
They fucked the video.
reality. You know, do you remember the movie
Oh, okay.
Demolition Man
I just went
and
on the ground.
the utopia that they lived in?
I just
Anybody listen to fucking Taco Bell commercials from
Taco
years
Bell's
ago?
great.
Huh?
Taco Bell's great.
Totally agree.
Taco Bell.
I think they actually make the tacos at Taco Bell out of the same rats out of Demolition Man.
Sandra Bullock's vagina?
I've seen it.
mm.
Have you? Have you really?
I am not saying just I make that up.
Yeah, I figured because I mean, knowing you, you always go for the cornhole. Just a.
Yeah, I mean, it really wasn't a person, Jesse James, but it's a long story.
Thanks. um,
That was funny. How old was the guest tonight?
he,
At first, I thought he was like 18, and then he
re-
said, "I've been doing this for 30 years." So I was like, "Okay, like 31."
no, I don't know. I'm guessing he's probably 45
He
plus.
was talking about starting in 1984.
I think he's probably in his early 50s. But
Man,
he
he
looks young. He's a very interesting man. I've been kind of documenting him a little bit. Like he has the court support human solutions, and I did a little bit of footage when he was in the middle of his court case and stuff. And he was defended by Alice Margolin, who is Bruce Margolin's daughter. And Bruce Margolin's one of the most major marijuana attorneys known, and you know,
You know?
well, I mean,
you
I just thought it was
know,
so neat
one of the most
finding
like California like known like marijuana attorneys, like two Proposition 215, like he made it happen. Okay, and so everybody knows him.
right? That's just the way he talked. It was awesome. It was just he talked like he's like, yeah, I live in like the American Orange
Oh, I put
County
that
movie.
out. Maybe I
Imagine
should have.
that.
Huh?
uh,
You
yeah,
know, he's interesting, and now I don't know how he got free. I mean, I don't know the end of his case. The last time I left him, he was still being persecuted. I think he did do some jail time. But I don't know how long. And so, we didn't get into those topics tonight on the show. We kind of reconnected through Facebook again. Um, and we talked about, I'm interested in his, the prison Skype that stuff, I mean, like their art and material and songs and stuff. I think that might be really captivating. It might, and for people who are doing time for marijuana related crimes, it might be something really cool to have as part of Hollywood Hempress Hour. Because
Yeah,
that, yeah, so I'd like to, and then he asked me if I would like help him with the comedy part and stuff.
yeah.
So I said yes. I mean, I think it's I think it's cool, and it could really create awareness on the heart of the people that are serving crimes for this plant. You know.
Yeah, and see that. I mean, especially like right now with the awakening that's going on across the United States, with people, I know people personally that 2 years ago would have been like, get out of that, and they would have flipped out. Now they're like, oh, you're smoking pot. Well, I don't smoke pot, but it's okay. Like, it's just so weird to see the social change. And it's not just here; it's across the United States. I've seen it everywhere. I mean, there's like what 26 states that are going to go for some form of medical or legalization next year. That's a huge turnaround from just 2 to 3 years ago. And like with the people awakening and getting to that, I think this would really help them so they know because these prisons are privatized. They lock people up and throw away the key all the time. It doesn't matter whether they had weed or whether they ran a stop sign and they were black and had a white girl in the passenger seat. This shit happens. Um, you know, and so I'm just, they do that and it's privatized and nobody hears about it. You don't, you never, it's not really, portrayed. Every year you might hear about one or two people who got off after doing 20 years for a crime they didn't commit, but that's it. You never hear about all these other people. And I think it would be really eye opening for people to see people who were like, no, man, I was driving through Nevada, I had a half ounce of weed, and I've been fucking locked up for 40 years. Like really?
It's about
Like,
rehumanizing them. If you
huh?
could rehumanize them to the world, like take prison people that are in prison, because as soon as someone thinks of a prisoner in for a drug offense, they think of these awful, horrible, tattooed rapists, stabbing in the neck motherfuckers. Like that's not the case. We have to like show that these are regular people just like them,
They are.
or like
Even
their
little,
cousin or like a friend. Like rehumanize these people to the population, and we can maybe more effectively try and should change that way.
yeah, well, yeah, repopulate them to exactly what I'm saying. And at the same time, stop the injustice that's been done. And it's not just going to be one person. I'm sure there's tons of people in all of these prisons all across America. I'm sure there's tons of people locked up for one, things they didn't do, and two, for non-violent, victimless crimes, which I don't even think that's a crime. I don't know. It's non-violent, non-victimless. How is it a crime? You didn't hurt nobody.
So
There was no victim.
that's exactly what the corporations and banks say.
Right. Well,
Nobody was hurt.
but they do hurt people.
I
They leave us
know, I know,
what's
I
on
know.
that is damning. Okay, if I take a bunch of drugs and sit in a corner, I didn't do anything to anybody but myself.
Yeah, look at Bernie Madoff. Bernie Madoff hurt a
I
lot
was
of people with what
I
he
was
did.
being facetious, you
Oh.
guys.
Enron?
Well, I mean that goes on and on, and I feel that there's a witnessing of that happening, and there's you're like, wow, who's the real criminals here? And yet we have these other people that I mean, they grew a plant. They grew a plant which is natural and normal, and it's part of our ecosystem. It's part of our bodies. It's part of and so the what I found interesting like the last few weeks with doing Hollywood Hempress Hour is, for me, it's beginning to point out that the denial of that plant, how has it affected us, and why the denial. And when you look at, then as you look around and you go, oh my god, well, this is really what's going on. And that's really, really dark and sinister to actually really face, is how I'm feeling sometimes. At the same time, I go, but look what the possibilities are. The fact that I can see that. So like now what? Now what's the answer? It's like, first you have to identify that there's an elephant in the room, and then you say, okay, well, what's my next course of action here? And my feeling is that, I think one thing that for me, I think is a solution is that we're doing what we're doing right now. We're having a discussion, and you just go, all right, we're all talking about something. We're not saying that, it's real or not real. None of us really know what's actually absolutely real. It's just that, it's allowing us to like objectively think about it, and then determine what we think is or not. And once we're able to like, determine that, then I think that we become a little bit more empowered in some way, because then you can go, well, now I have choices to believe what I believe, you know, and if there's, I do think that maybe there's a lot of different people that also kind of see it the way I see it, and you just go, I'm not trying to make other people change their minds. I'm not trying to tell them that this is the absolute truth unless I know it's the absolute truth. I mean, if I know, like, there's part of a science. I mean, if you want to be science based or theoretical or have it just set, does it have to appear solid in front of your eyes? You have to touch and feel it that you know it's real or not. What, let's determine like what, I mean, for me, let's determine what our reality is in the first place. And right now, I just think it's kind of fun to discover what maybe reality really is. And then from there, then we decide, well, what's our course of action within that reality? And my feeling is that we have options. Everybody has. I mean, obviously, we live in a free, like, universally they say we're living in a free will existence. If we really believe we have free will, then don't we have the free will to maybe, maybe it is possible to make another possible reality happen. It's not saying like, overstepping your bounds and being like we don't what we don't like. But obviously, if a lot of us are, and I believe resonating in a heart space, a love heart space, where you're like, I love my brother and sister just as much as I do, myself and everything around me, and I really do love the earth. I really love the trees and the birds and the skies, and that I just think this place is a place of enchantment and wonderment every time I look outside. And what can I do to make, because life is everywhere, you can breathe it, it's in every part of our existence. So how am I disconnected from that from 1 second ever? And I don't feel that I'm the only person that feels that way. And that's a very, just think about it, if we all like took a deep breath and went, I breathe and exist in the whole existence of everything that ever was and ever will be. And to me, I find that's the center point, and I'm not the only one. I don't think I'm the only person that maybe has that kind of feeling. And I feel that if a lot of people start to think that way, I believe that if the laws of the universe is based on amount of an intention of thought creates a reality. If that becomes a stronger pulse, I feel that the overall reality begins to shift in that direction as opposed to the other direction, because they're getting what we think is dark, they're getting what they want dark because they've manifested it, they've done things to make it happen. And perhaps they might know some things that exist on in the world and the cycles of the planet. They were able to heighten that possibility and manipulate our energy, contribute to it without our realizing what they were actually really doing. I feel that that's a possibility, a reality for me, from my own personal experience and what I'm examining outward and some of this stuff that I've been researching. I'm going, you know what, that makes sense. And so if that's a possibility in a free will reality that I'm existing in, then I feel that that's a possibility, then maybe I have a possibility to participate in that. because that's the way it is right now. And, if there are other people that, feel the same way that we do, or, want love and, life to exist everywhere in, this way that I know that exists. For me, that's real. And nobody can take that away with me. Just because my environment is reflecting something different doesn't mean that that's my own personal truth.
Like you
And
said, like who lives here? I mean, every Wednesday and Sunday, I mean, they get a group of people into one area to get them all on the same, like Jason was saying, vibration or frequency. And then for their sacrifice, they all have to donate or give $1 and put it in a box or in a basket. They give up money. I mean, it's the same thing. So I mean, basically, what you're right, and that's the power they've been using for so long. And it is. It's when you get enough energy and enough, or the frequency and enough people on it, you can change, the perception, and perception changes reality.
Right.
I mean, Abraham Lincoln. I heard Chris Angel say it, and I thought it was good. But then that other guy came out and said right afterwards, like, "Well, Abraham Lincoln said if you don't have the people, for, whatever, then you don't have that." And it's like that's the same thing. If they don't believe, or if everybody's on the same page, it becomes real. That's and so if you can get enough people to agree or be, it will become real to an extent. To an extent.
well, I mean, I just kind of feel like from myself, and I'm just saying with myself, that's just all I believe that. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm more inclined, I mean, because I'm starting to witness it in my own reality, in my own personal life. And so, because I feel that way, then I'm just like kind of like trusting that that's a possibility. And I'm willing to experiment the possibility to see if it is possible. And if it's not, well then, I'll look for, for me, I'm going to look for something else. If there's something else that exists.
I know one thing is real, and one fact only, and that the exact circumference area between my two eyebrows is the exact same as a Bic razor. Yeah.
Okay, guys. I'm sorry. I was trying to hold out until 4:20, but I've got to go to bed.
Okay. All right. Well, that's what should we name this one?
Oh.
So
Do you know if trips back